So years ago when I got my truck, I always wanted to do an LS swap. And when I did it, I said to myself, I was going to buy an emblem that said LS Extreme. And I even printed it on paper and did it. Come to find out some years later, people had already made it, like this one. Now the only downside to this stuff is that no one actually sells them. But now that I have a 3D printer, I'm able to make it. So I started on the LSX. This was like my first attempt out of an emblem, and I was just able to upload it as an STL file and print it, and it's printing as we speak. So I thought it'd be a good idea and a good time to make a video. So I started by taking off some measurements from my original emblem here, and I'll just show you on the computer screen because it's a little easier. This section here, basically the base of the emblem, is 3.5 millimeters, and then this is lifted up or extruded up by 1 millimeter. So this kind of gives it that whole emblem look. And I'll show you when I open up my slicer. And for those who don't know, a slicer is what you use to have the code talk to your printer, basically. And basically, here's the emblem. It prints in about 27 layers, just the LSX part so far. And just so you can see how it works. If this is at 10% infill, obviously, we can do 100% infill over here, which basically just means it becomes pure plastic instead. It only takes a few extra minutes, which is probably the route I'll go, just to keep everything nice and thick. But yeah, this is the start of something new. Alright, here's the emblem, fresh off the printer. It's just printed. This is the 10%, I believe. And for dimensions, I guess, over here, everything's gonna be based off of this kind of, so 18.79, it's not bad. So open this puppy up. 97.73. It's a rough width, a little smaller than that, but you can kind of get an idea of what you're looking at. And just to put it looks kind of small at first, but here's my original emblem for the Extreme. You can kind of see that the letters are roughly the same size. Here and there, you know, you can kind of just tell it's a little different. So I was actually talking to my wife, and she thinks that this X looks really cool. It kind of takes away from the whole LSX part, so I'm not really sure which way to go. I think I'm just going to design it as this and then make another one that has the X in there. But here's just a quick preview of the emblem. Alright, so here we are in Fusion 360, and I'm sorry I don't know how to do a screen capture on my computer. Maybe I'm just showing my age, but you know, this is what I can give you. So I have saved 2 files, which you can't see over here on the left hand side. One is the LSX only, but before I created that file, I started my emblem file, which is what we're in right now. So as you can see here, this is my sketch right here. So it starts off with just the base, and then I drew the letters on right behind it, see, just like that. And the way I did that is I did a canvas, canvas is you can export an image or import an image, and you can trace over it, which is how I got what I got, just like that. See, here's the LSX. Hopefully that makes sense. So now that this portion is done, now I can continue and add the extreme part of it, right? So I literally just went online and Googled Extreme Emblem, you know, that way I didn't have to scan mine into the computer. And I found one that has a pretty decent like background. Basically, in a way, you're able to tell, because that's like contradicting colors just about, so we are able to trace this to the best of our abilities. And this is saved as a JPEG, okay? And the way you do this on the computer is if you want to insert a picture like I did, you just go to insert, hit canvas right here, and you find it on your computer, which mine is here. pops up on this. You just have to put it where you want it the plane to be, and then you just have to get the right size. Okay, so since it came out backwards, we're gonna go ahead and fix that. Over here, you just left click it and hit edit canvas. Over here, you can see you have a bunch of settings and stuff. We're gonna do a horizontal flip, put it in the right orientation, and as you can see, there it is, right? Now, I just realized a problem while I paused the camera, that I realized that when I imported the original logo of the LSX, which I'll pull over here, it for some reason didn't account for the white background, but on this one, since I get to the gray background, it did. So when I zoom out, and I'll show you, here's the size comparison of the emblems and stuff. So this is obviously way too small, right? So we need to incorporate the size to kind of match this. So I'll do a little bit of figuring out real quick, and I'll show you the next step. So you can see that little process, what it took to just draw the letter T. And you can see here it's highlighted. Basically, that's still the same process throughout, you know, to make a copy of something. So I'm not going to record the rest because I don't want to bore you guys. I'll just show you the final product. So here's my base all put together, all combined together. You can see it's one whole piece since it highlights in gray. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll finish our sketch because we're done messing with it. And then we're going to extrude it. So we're trying to extrude this, like we said before, we're going to go with 3.15. Okay. Select the body. Come on. 3.15. Okay. Cool. So now when we change the orientation of this, you can see it has an actual layer to it, right? So we're going back to the front angle of this, and now we can make the letters appear. Here's all the LS Extreme portion of it, right? So we're gonna select all these. All right, now that we've highlighted the rest of the Extreme, you can see here, we do the same simple thing. We hit extrude up here, or extrude. So we're gonna do, we want this to be 1 mil, right? But the problem is, since the base is already, how do you say it? It's already 3.15, we gotta just go 4.15. And since the image is backwards, we have to do negative 4.15. And we are done. As you can see, there's a lip. Here's everything set up. Nice and pretty. So we're gonna go ahead and export this in a way so our printer can read it. Boom, there it is. Now obviously, this little puppy has to be rotated different kinds of ways. So first things first, we'll layer on our back like so, 90 degrees, bam. And then we're gonna go ahead and rotate it at an angle, hopefully like that, and then lay it flat. Shoot. 45 degrees. Barely fits. I'll check that out though. LS6 Extreme. Yeah, it's barely gonna fit. So it looks like it's only gonna take about, well actually, we're gonna change the fill density right now to 100%. 3 hours and 38 minutes. So in 3 hours and 38 minutes, we will have a fancy emblem. Right now we're just gonna print it in PLA plus blue. I do have some black, but it's just regular PLA. So I'm not really sure, but this is gonna be the first test run. So let's check it out. Whoops, made a mistake. That boy is too thick, right? Here is the previous emblem, as you can see, just a tad bit smaller. But when you start comparing thicknesses, it's way off. And if you compare it to the first version, this one, which I just started to prime by the way, you can see the thickness here versus the thickness here. I think where I went wrong is I just assumed that, or I might have just typed in the dimensions wrong on the extrusion part, because you can see the thicknesses for the base appear to be roughly the same. Yeah, more or less, maybe a little off, but this is extruded way too high, or maybe not. I'm gonna sleep on this, but either way I can still fix this file so it's not protruding as much. Unless you guys think it's cool. Anyways, let's take a nap. Alright, I had some time to think about it, and I decided not to stick with the thick boy, so we went back to our settings and played around with it a little bit. It turns out we made it too big, so by taking off the original 4.15 and just making it 1 mil thick, which we're basically taking off 3.15 here, you can kind of see what it looks like. So we hit OK. There we go. There's our thickness that we're looking for. So I'll try to change the view for you guys. There you go, you can see that. That's the thickness we want. So let's print this one instead. We printed it. So here's just for size comparison. There's the second version, the thick boy version. Here's the LSX version, and here's the original version. Let's see. Kind of tells roughly the same. So alright, so we've gone ahead and sprayed filler primer on this a few times, and we've gone ahead and wet sanded it to the point where I feel like all the crevices are pretty much covered. Obviously it's not perfect, like you can see some little ridge lines there, and you can make this perfect, but at this point honestly I've gotten too lazy, so I really don't care. But anyways, we've gone ahead and experimented with some colors, and I wanted to show y'all this real quick. This is basically the color scheme we're gonna go with. This is actually chrome, which is this guy here, but it did this weird little color change, and I wasn't really happy with the way the black decided to sit on the background of it. I don't know, I just feel like this chrome isn't really meant to be clear coated over. So the colors we're gonna use for this are, we have some just regular Dupli-Color Universal Silver, some Dupli-Color red. We just got a pretty nice red. It's 4, don't judge me on that. And then for the background, we're gonna do black, which is just flat black. Since none of these colors have a clear coat, it's very important that you do that if you're gonna do it like this. And then to top it all off, we're just gonna use clear coat, okay? So following this color scheme should be relatively easy to paint this whole thing. Alright, now that we got our red sort of dried up, we're going to spray paint our silver. I'll do 2 coats of this. here is the final tape up of this one. As you can, I don't know if you can tell in the time lapse, that took a really long time. I think it must have took me like 15 minutes or so, which doesn't sound too bad, I guess, but when you have 3 to do, it sucks. I mean, my wrist already hurts too, so. What I'm hoping to do is paint this and then letting it dry, and I'm hoping I can peel off the letters and transplant it to this one, which might be a long shot, but hey, you know, anything to work a little bit easier would be great. So let's put some paint on this one. All right, first coat. Well, check it out, fellas. 3 painted emblems. Now, obviously, you're probably gonna notice, the haters are gonna point it out. Yes, there are a few little blemishes. For example, this would be the worst one, I would think, right here on the M. No big deal. There's a real simple way to fix that. So, we have some of this leftover red. There's barely any paint in here, so I'm gonna try to squeeze it out the best way I can. Alright, so we just went ahead and popped a hole in that can. I don't know if you can see that there. Yeah, there you go. There's paint in there. I'm just gonna take a little brush and I'm gonna go ahead and touch up the little surface that needs it. Not too crazy. If you did little arts and crafts in school, this is right up your alley. Alright, man, the time has come. Let's hit it with that clear coat. Ooh. Alright, we're gonna do 3 coats. Let's see. Alright, boys, number 2. Ooh, nice. Alright, last but not least, the 3rd coat. Woo! Nice. Fucking mint, boys. Alright, so I didn't record this, but I put 3M tape, or not 3M, double-sided tape on the back of the emblems, each one. And now it's time for the whole reason of this video is to put them on the truck. So we're gonna kind of follow suit with where the placement was. I believe on the extremes they had it here. On this side, I think it said extreme here and Chevy there. And if not, I still like this side anyway. So we're gonna put one there and we'll put one on each door. But we're gonna clean the area surface with some alcohol from the medicine cabinet on a rag. That looks good. We're just gonna eyeball this shit, right, folks? Could set it there. Let's eyeball this shit. Clean. And that's the end of the build. Just want to show that anybody can do this if you just take the time to do something cool, right? So yeah, I just hit 1,000 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more cool stuff. Peace.